Grindelwald is already on the run. Queenie is already on the side of the good, plus a few other shortcomings. Why does the Secrets of Grindelwald feel like a potential ending for the Fantastic Beasts franchise? Here, we dive into what feels off about the ending of the film series' third installment, plus why this might be. Stay until the end to hear about the opportunities that Warner Bros. Will be missing if they decide to leave the Fantastic Beasts franchise behind earlier than anticipated. Most Wizarding World fans will be aware that the Fantastic Beasts films were publicized as a 5-picture story ending on the legendary battle between Albus Dumbledore and Gellert Grindelwald in 1945. However, after the recent release of the third installment, there are a lot of wands pointing to the idea that the final 2 films are not going into production. Aside from the franchise's lower than expected box office performance, there are some plot elements that add fuel to this cauldron. Okay, the magic metaphors are done for now, we swear. The first, Queenie Goldstein's fall from grace. Fans will remember that the bubbly, smiling sister of Tina went to the length of enchanting her muggle boyfriend Jacob Kowalski in order to get him to marry her.
Why is it wrong to want to marry you?
Okay.
To want to have a family?
When he was broke of this enchantment and was not on board with the idea, Queenie fled and wound up in the clutches of the manipulative Gellert Grindelwald himself. Believing in his cause, Queenie sided with him, eventually losing sight of the original reason she aligned with the Dark Wizard, to break down the walls of segregation between magical beings and non-magical beings being in love. The third film does feature Queenie sticking with Grindelwald and his followers for the most part. However, by the end of the film, she is back to her smiling ways and getting married to Jacob as if nothing ever happened. Wouldn't it have made more sense for Queenie's turn to the dark side to be a tad more lengthy before she's seen the error of her ways? Why would that plot thread end so quickly? We then get onto Credence's journey. This is a character who we find has been mistreated and manipulated his entire life. It is in the second film, The Crimes of Grindelwald, that he finally sides with the titular Dark Wizard and learns of his heritage as a Dumbledore, though Grindelwald does twist some of the facts on his lineage. In this film, we do see Credence traveling down a darker path, making him very different from the timid young man we met in the first film. Though by the end of this film, he is aligned with his father, Aberforth, Albus Dumbledore's brother, and is on the verge of death. For such a build-up for the character that is due to have explosive repercussions, why was this journey cut short in such a escape through the back door type of way? Remember, the big cliffhanger of the second film was the revelation of Credence's family connection and how dangerous it could make him. Should this storyline not have spanned at least an extra film in some way? Maybe Credence wouldn't have been so quick to believe or forgive his father and uncle. Next, there's Grindelwald's grip on the magical world, a grip that, like our other plot points, didn't seem to be explored enough. The end of the second movie saw Grindelwald beginning to rally quite a following as he used propaganda and visions of the future to turn people towards muggles and those of the Wizarding World who defend them. As we head into the third movie, Gellert has now even got a Wizarding official on his side, helping him to gain control over the entire magical world. Fixing his chances by means of killing and enchanting a, dare I say, fantastic beast that will convince people of his suitability, he wins and is named the leader of the magical world at large. That is, however, until Newt Scamander and his friends are able to prove his dastardly tricks and deception. Grindelwald then, after a teasing duel with a lover-turned-enemy Dumbledore, makes for a quick exit and is never seen again. Now, with Grindelwald being the overarching villain of this entire film series, why would his threat of leading the entire wizarding community be so quick to end? Surely, his succeeding in being named leader and that capping off the film would be a perfect way to lead us into the final 2 outings. By being shown for what he truly is, it does in a way make him as dangerous as ever by backing him desperately into a corner, but it does feel off in some way. There is also Theseus Scamander's final words to Dumbledore that seem a bit out of sorts once you've rewatched a couple of times. Scamander has Dumbledore promise that he will find Grindelwald and stop him, as in, he alone.
Promise me. You'll find him and you'll stop him.
When this film series has always centered on some type of team dynamic to stop whatever evil they're facing, why task it to just Dumbledore? There is then the way Dumbledore speaks to Newt before walking off into snowy New York. I really couldn't have done it without you, he says to his former pupil.
I really couldn't have done it without you.
It's as if Newt's journey in helping to take down Grindelwald is over. We understand that Dumbledore is equal, if not more powerful in comparison to Grindelwald, but does that mean he can't have backup? Though each film does seem to edge Dumbledore closer and closer towards the front of the cast, it does appear that these lines imply no one else is needed, and only Dumbledore is needed now that his blood pact with his former friend is broken. It all feels very, well, final. Everything seems to be leading Warner Bros. Prepping for this to either take us into a different era of the franchise or finish off the story there. Rumors have swirled around that Warner Bros. Were waiting on the box office results of this third film before they moved any further in giving at least the fourth installment the green light. To be honest, who could blame them? The first film released back in 2016, having had a budget of around $200 million and made $814 million at the box office. Not bad, right? Then Crimes of Grindelwald released in 2018, with a budget of $200 million to make it like its predecessor, earning back just over $654 million. Okay, a little loosening of the collar and nerves maybe, but not enough to cancel the third film being made. The release of Secrets of Dumbledore this year, a budget once again of $200 million, earning back just over $405 million at the box office. That means it made back basically half of what the film installment made. Warner Bros. Clearly had an action plan in line when they set out to make The Secrets of Dumbledore. Make it, but end it in a way that if we don't make back enough dollars, we can cut our losses. It would seem to be the only explanation for why so many plot points were pulled back and halted prematurely. If Warner Bros. Really do decide to let go of the Fantastic Beasts series, it would make sense for them. However, it could rob fans of some pretty exciting moments moving forward. Tom Riddle would be set to join Hogwarts only a few years after Secrets of Dumbledore. Who wouldn't want to get more of a sneak peek of young Voldemort during his studies as he becomes curious about his parents and his place in the wizarding world? Jude Law's Dumbledore edging closer to the wizard robes and longer hair and beard. You can't say that wouldn't be fun to see. Then there's of course the ultimate final battle between Dumbledore and Grindewald in 1945. Having been mentioned as far back as the Harry Potter books and being alluded to in the Potter films, it would be great to see the two wizards duel. We got a tease of them fighting each other in Secrets of Dumbledore, and even that was enough to think they'd have the Battle of the Century as teased by characters in the Potter books. Alas, it just may not be on the cards. It would seem that this third installment of the Fantastic Beasts series ended the way it did because Warner Bros. Needed to play it safe and have the option to either carry on or leave this run of films simply as a trilogy if needs be. If they do so, there is always options for other branches of the wizarding world to explore. A Dobby trilogy maybe? A Crabbe and Goyle spin-off? Or a nearly headless Nick origin story? Warner Bros., Miss Rowling, if you're watching, I hope you're taking notes.